What's happening, troops? As you can tell by the title, Josh Ginnelly is the guest on today's podcast. It means no introduction. He's an incredible guy. We spoke about so much in terms of football, mindset. I really was able to really capture what his mindset is like in football and out with football, and kind of the rough times that he did go through to actually get to where he is today in the time of clubs that he has been at. He's went from, Conference League, he's been in the Premier League, he's also now in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts are sitting third. And Gino is nothing short of spectacular. He's an incredible giver. He's got an incredible mindset towards business as well. And I'm fortunate enough to be working with him on that front. And you're going to see some of that throughout this podcast today. So if you're sitting there and you're someone that's either a young footballer and you're wanting advice on what you need to do to make it happen, this is a podcast episode for you. But also if you're a footballer and you're wanting to move into business, this is also an episode for you. And lastly, if you're someone that just loves meeting someone that is genuine and they really are transparent and the kind of person that they are today, this episode is going to have you encapsulated. I know this is a part that most people don't usually like. They usually skip forward. It's usually not the part that anyone is excited about. But I promise you, when it comes to the sponsors that are on board with this podcast, it's people that I actually believe in. It's people that are also part of my network. And it's also people that are actually family members as well, man. Not as such as this podcast or Gino's episode, but we've got an incredible sponsor. Have you ever been sitting there and wondering to yourself about starting a brand, changing lives, changing your own life in the meanwhile, and actually understanding how to make an impact in the world? And if so, if the answer to that question is yes, then Scott McClure Mentorship, you're going to see him in episode 2 coming up in the next couple of weeks. He's an incredible guy. He's scaled multiple companies. He is fucking crushing it on every level possible. And he is the kind of guy that is absolutely going to change your life. He's going to make your brand a reality. He's got results already of people in the first day bringing in £400 to £1,000 in sales in the launch of their brand. If you're already sitting there with an established brand, or even you are wanting to start from scratch, imagine the results you could get if you were guided by someone like Scott McClure, who's been there, he's done it, he's got the jacket, and he's changing lives already. If you're the kind of person that wants to build an asset, you want to get your money working for you and making you more money and establish a brand that is going to change lives, like I said before, Scott McClure is absolutely the guy to reach out to. He's got his Instagram tag. It's going to be down below in the description. It's going to be at Scott McClure Mentorship on Instagram. Reach out to him, drop him a DM, tell him I sent you. And also, lastly, if you're liking the episode, of course, make sure you drop a follow, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and let me know what your favourite part of the episode has been and the part that could potentially change your life in the future. Right, we're good to go then, mate. Season 2 of the YN podcast, where basically bring on people that have achieved remarkable things within their life. And today's guest, mate, we've got Josh Ginnelly. Do you want to introduce yourself, Gino?
Gino, as most of you will know. Yeah, let's go.
Pro baller for Hearts.
Trying, mate. I'm trying.
So if anyone's never watched any of the podcast episodes from like season 1 and stuff like that, basically do a mindset deep dive. We want to see how Gino has actually became a professional footballer. Something where you've got a 0.012% chance of making it. And actually get like a deep dive into, be a lot of entrepreneurs out there, because that's where my background obviously comes from. And basically through the podcast, we're looking to capture what it actually takes for an individual to be completely different and unique, and to actually go out there and just be a complete like different human being to the majority of people on this planet. I mean, I sometimes get sucked into it, especially during COVID, just working away like an absolute workhorse. And it wasn't until I'd went and walked down Buchanan Street and I actually realised that was just a small bubble in my life, and that majority of people aren't doing anything that I'm doing. So we're looking to capture that to the podcast, get a proper deep dive, see what actually makes Gino. And kind of one of the first things I want to speak about, bro, is the Relentless book that you're reading just now, mate. Because the fact that you texted me that yesterday, bro, that was like a sign, mate.
That book is like, I'm not that kind of person that I'll just read anything. Mm-hmm. But somebody said to me like, nah, this book will like help you. Yeah. And sometimes people come with a book and it's like, oh, just read it. Mm. And you're like 10 pages in, you're thinking, this is shit.
Yeah.
But that one, like, obviously is an audio book as well. Like, so I think like they give you like 5 minutes like a sample of like a part of the book.
Yeah.
So I've just clicked it and I'm driving along and he said something. I'm thinking, whoa, like I like this. I'm defo buying this book now. So I've got one of the Sonos speakers.
Yeah.
So I've hooked up my other phone to that and see like nighttime, whatever, I just stick that on and like listen. But it's crazy like what he goes on about, because he has like, well, you've read it yourself. So like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, like all the GOATs of sport, innit? They use it. So it's good, man. I'm enjoying it. I think I'm like 4 hours in.
I think it was one of the books. It was actually Paula Paula bought it for me. So if anyone doesn't know Paula, she's on, I think, the 8th episode of the podcast. So she's my business coach. She's a 7-figure business coach, and she just one of the days I went downstairs and Amazon delivery. She just does that. It's just like one of her things, just giving back to clients, and opened that up, mate. It was relentless, and she was like, I recommend you read that with the stage of your journey that you're at just now. That book could be a real turning point for you. So I did. I read it, mate, and it was just my kind of stereotypical 10 pages a night, just going through it, and it was almost like what I needed at that time. And it's weird how a book can do that, because I wasn't a bookworm. I was actually speaking about this to my gran like literally 2 nights ago, because I was telling her, like, I've been recommending books to her, like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. There's another book as well that he done, which was Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson, which is like a book about hope, why people believe in religions, why people believe in ideological religions, why people invest into things like football, for example, why they almost like embrace it as it's like a part of them. And it's just an incredible book. And I actually gave her both of those books to read and see like the difference, like from just her reading it to like afterwards, and just some of the conversations we've had since then. And one of the big inspirations behind Not Giving a Fuck was definitely my granda. He did not care, bro. He would sit, mate, and I'm talking like jammy bottoms, mate, no top, and like, no matter who came in, bro. Like,
it's the way you gotta be, though, innit?
Yeah.
See, like, especially now, seeing this generation, like, people ain't gonna like you and they don't know you. So, like, that's one of the things, like, nowadays with Instagram, you got, like, people will buy a specific t-shirt or a designer t-shirt because like someone who's popular has got it on.
Yeah.
And then, but on the flip side of that, you say, like, you know the common theme now, everyone is, I hate everyone anyway, I don't care.
Yeah.
But yet you're posting things on your social media to look a certain way and impress people that you said you don't like.
Yeah.
So like books like that, maybe everyone needs to dive into.
100%, bro, because it's a completely different kind of self-help book.
Yeah.
It's you can really like feel Mark Manson's voice like coming through it and some of the things he refers to. And I think when I think about my granda, like, see, you're probably talking like maybe about three years ago. He used to not go out at all, bro. And when he did go out, he used to go out in his wee scooter in it.
Yeah.
And you're talking about 3 years ago, bro. He was driving his scooter through the town centre. Bro, just whips out a rollie, mate, and just starts smoking it in the middle of the town centre. And the security guard comes over and he's like, you need to put that out. And he's like, why? And he's like, mate, smoking's been banned for like years. And he's like, no. Like, and he's like, well, you're going to have to leave. And he's like, it's okay, like, I'll put it out. And he puts it out, and as soon as he drives away, just lights it back up again, bro, and just keeps smoking it. And that's like, you asked anyone to do that, mate, they wouldn't even know, they couldn't even do it, mate. The thought of like going against authority, like people just can't even like comprehend it, or even process it, bro. It's hilarious, mate.
It's a mad generation, bro.
Yeah, it's for sure. So back to the Relentless book then. Tim Grover, because he's the personal coach. So for anyone that's not read Relentless, Tim Grover was the personal coach of Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and Michael Jordan. And he basically it was like when shit was hitting the fan, he came in and just took them, and basically it was almost like rehabilitation, got them back to the level that they had to be. And he speaks so much about, because after Kobe passed, I didn't know much. I don't watch like NBA or not, anything like that, so I didn't know much about him. I just knew about like Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. And the more research I done into him, because that's what happens when someone passes in it, it's like naturally show remorse, and you end up deep diving into them. And end up in one of the videos I used to watch every morning, mate, when I was more pessimistic, when I used to have like a victim mentality, when it was like everyone else's fault but mine. And I remember watching one of the videos, and it was the mindset of higher achievers. He was on it, mate. His mindset was just like, I remember just listening to it every morning, mate. And for anyone that's listening, if you feel like you've got a pessimistic mindset, when you wake up first thing in the morning, that's when you're most reactive. Stick on something motivational, stick on something that is challenging to your own thought process at this current time. Just, even if your mind is showing resistance, fucking listen to it. Just listen to it every morning, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. Even while you're in the shower, literally just anything. And that was enough to like reprogram my pessimistic mental state. So at the Relentless book at the moment, what have you kind of took away from it?
It's more of a case of like, so for my profession is like, you go out for 90 minutes and there's going to be so many things going on. You've got, like, say if we're at home, we've got 20,000 fans. You've got, I don't know, you're playing against a big side like Celtic, Rangers, and, you know, like, you're getting the ball, losing it. All these things happen in a game, and it's like, see, because you would have been to a game before, and it like somebody gives the ball away, it's like, but that is so loud in your head. At that moment in time, you got 2-3 seconds at best to say like, all right, cool, or you go the other way and think like, nah, I'm having one here, and every player's gone through that. Like, take a touch, it bounces 50 yards away from you, and you're chasing your touch the whole game.
Yeah.
But see, like, during that time, people just think like, he's having a bad game, but in your head, all eyes are on you. So it's like that. He says something in a book. He's like, he's talking about like, just don't think. Don't think, because it's quite true, because if you let them kind of things eat you up, because you're constantly rolling over thinking about it in different ways and how it looks to others.
Yeah.
By the time you've realised that, mate, the game's done. So you've wasted that amount of time on one thing that's been a mistake in the game, but you make at least another 10.
Yeah.
So, you know, there was something in the book. I don't think he named the player, but the player was in the playoff Senate in the NBA. So this player had something went on, and the game must have been 24 hours away. But because he needed to get back into that mindset of like not thinking in that scenario, he flew over to Tim and actually done work with him.
Yeah.
And like he said something like, sometimes they come to me for 45 minutes, an hour, but that's all they needed. So like, it just goes to show that if you've got something there that works for you, because he wouldn't have been doing the same thing with each player. It would have been like based around what they do and how they work, because one thing will work for someone, the other thing won't. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think it could have even been Dwayne Wade, something with his knee. Yeah. And like, he said to him, you're going to need surgery regardless. I can't take that away. Yeah. But what I can do is put you in the mindset of, I can get through this and then I can have my surgery. Yeah. Rather than miss out on the next 2-3 games. I think it was like, I think they were tired at the time. Like, I don't know. So obviously Dwayne Wade being who he is, he needs to play to like win things for his team, innit? So like, he was talking to him about, like, as I just said then, he's going to have the surgery. That's something that he can't change, but he can change his mindset to get him through that game and like forget about that pain. And that's what he done. Yeah.
Because I think he speaks about, I think Kobe speaks about it, something to do with like, say for example, you were in a house and you're in your house and inside you were sitting and you'd had I don't know, like a torn hamstring or like something like where you were in crutches or whatever. Yeah. Like if that house went on fire, mate, and your fucking daughter was upstairs, like nothing else matters, mate. The adrenaline that's going to kick in, you're going to go up and you're going to get your daughter out there, and you're going to be, it's more important than, and that's where it got me thinking about like Eddie Hall, the power lifter, when he lifted 500 kilograms. I'm not going to go into detail. If anyone's not watched the documentary on that, watch it, because the state of mind that he put himself into to even think about lifting that much weight. It's the same story, like that they accessing a part of your brain that it's almost like it's not possible to naturally go into it. But someone like Tim Grover, that was almost like the vibe I got. It didn't matter how much time they were going there for. It didn't matter if it was like for the full summer.
Yeah.
If it was just flying over for an hour, like at what stage or what level do you need to be at as a coach for people for where money doesn't matter and it's simply just about being there with you? What kind of impact do you actually need to have? Because it's fucking nuts, mate. The fact that people would fly to him for an hour.
There was another book that some guy messaged me on Instagram about 6 months ago, and he was just like, I want you to read this book and just give me feedback on the book. And me being me, I can read a book for so long, but it doesn't work. My attention span just goes. So like you could give me a book now, but I'll read 20 pages, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I have to have an audio book because then I listen carefully and like try and take as much as I can out of that.
Yeah.
But it was talking about so there's like three sides or two sides of your brain. That one is like fight or flight.
Yeah.
So if we walked out of here now and a guy tried to do something to you, your brain will choose its way in it before your body makes any movement. So you will freeze for that either split second or whatnot. And it's primitive in something else that it's like one side will say like, all right, cool, prepare to fight. And the other side will say run or try and calm the situation down. Yep. And it's like you were saying there with the crutches, like, I don't know, let's say you broke your leg or whatnot, can't put your foot on the floor, whatever. But a lion comes out the bushes, you're sprinting. And that's like, it's not natural to think that way, but we're actually programmed to be that way. Yeah. So like when these, I don't know, they're probably like in the army and whatnot. Yeah. They it's probably easier for them to get to that mindset because whether they're just, I don't know, sort of securing a base or whatnot, every second they need to be in that mindset of like something could go on there. Yeah. So like they've chose to fight straight away. So like that is obviously not natural for someone who's just day to day and whatnot. So I think, see like Ronaldo on that. Yeah. That like his mindset, that's not something that's like just gifted. That's something that's been worked on, and it's mad because a lot of us will probably never get to that stage of that mentality unless you work on it from now. Like it's not something that you can just choose. You actually have to dig deep and find yourself in it. So it's mad.
I agree, bro. Because I've actually got one of the things down here which we'll go into it at some point, but like the mindset, like it's literally the key difference maker. And when I think about the person I am now, mate, if I dropped everything and I just decided, I don't know, I've been playing like bare like table tennis recently, innit? Well, I genuinely believe with the mindset I've got now, I could become the best at anything I touch. Yeah. But that's like, when I think back to when I was like 15, playing football, my attitude was shite. Everything was everyone else's fault. The manager didn't want to play me. Or when I went to, it was mad, when I was 12, 13, I went on trial at Hearts for 6 weeks. And when I was there, like it was great. The training was just a different gravy from like boys club level. And when I went back to my boys club team and I went to play a summer tournament, and it was at that tournament, which I wasn't even meant to be at. I went to it and I totally got on my knee and I was out for a year. And then like from that moment onwards, it was like everything. Because I remember it's mad because just like when we were sitting chatting in Costa before we came through, you could remember exact moments in your life that you were referring to. I was the exact same with that moment where there was a part where I got past the ball as a counter-attack and I was standing at the halfway line. And I remember looking up and thinking, I could shoot here and it could go in because the keeper was like way off his line. Yeah. And I stopped and I took on the player in front of me and I took him on, went by him, and I was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And it was at that moment the goalkeeper came in and just went and just it was so intentional. I done a front flip and landed.
Yeah.
And I just remember like crying and looking at my leg, and my leg was like ballooned up. And it looked like I remember my mum being there, my mum like starting to cry and stuff like that because she knew something was wrong. And it was like, I remember back then, if I'd just shot, my whole life could have been completely different.
Yeah.
But that's like what I used to hold on to when I was, because when you're younger and like you're saying from a mindset aspect, but the mindset I had now, like that wouldn't affect me whatsoever. And my mindset would just be like, right, cool, recovery mode now. That's fine. My career isn't over. It's not done. It's not, nothing changes. I just get on with it. I'll recover the best way I can. Even like the mindset now, say like I want to take on, let's speak of Paula actually, right?
Yeah.
So Paula's a business coach. When I first went to Paula, I had the mindset that I couldn't afford her as a business coach. So, and I remember the first course I paid for was a sales course, and it was £1,000 for 90 days, so 3 months. And I was saying it time and time again, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. This is nuts. And I remember speaking to mom about it, and she was like, because her mindset had started to shift, but she didn't want to just like force it on me. She was just like, I was naturally rubbing, like it was naturally like rubbing on me, like it was naturally coming to me, which was like the best thing my mom could have done at that time. And like now, mate, like my mindset is literally, if I can't afford something or if I can't make anything happen, I will make it happen regardless of what the situation is. Even if it means where, like I was even having a chat with a wonderful woman, Wendy Snedden. She's like a property investor. We were sitting chatting about last week about how I want a hub for YEN so that people can have the physical aspect of being around the correct people and experiencing what we're experiencing just now. And like we're sitting just chatting like, John, if you want, like we can come together and we can go and source an office building and like we can buy it. And like the thought of that when I was, even like 2 years ago, that wouldn't even like in my head I'd be like, what are you talking about, man? That is like, what are you talking? How is that even possible to even happen? In my mindset now, bro, it's completely different to where if I'm actually in a situation where as a business I'm looking at the cash flow forecast and we can't actually fit in the cash flow of something like Paula, for example. So I'm opted into the 5-figure business club, right? So I pay Paula £1,000 a month. If I'm sitting looking at a cash flow forecast and I know it's going to, Paula puts a guarantee, if I pay her 12 grand over a year period and I don't make 24 grand off it, she refunds the 12 grand. So she's so confident in her ability and what she does that, like, what I'd be fucking stupid not to do that. So all I need to do is just find the money. And the mindset of, like, my poor mindset that I had before was that was not possible because I didn't have the money in my bank right now. Whereas the mindset now, mate, it's literally like I can make anything I fucking want happen, regardless of circumstance, regardless of money, regardless of just replacing that I can't afford it, I can't do that, I can't make that happen with, right, cool, let's explore it. How can I make it happen? How can I actually make this possible so that I can move forward and I can generate enough cash flow to change my whole business, change the world, impact the world in the way in which I want to. And I truly believe, man, like now, like you give me anything to become obsessed about and I'll become the best at it. And it's weird because when you're saying it and you don't believe it, you get that wee feeling in your stomach. It's like you don't really believe what you're saying. And I used to do it a lot with declarations. So every morning and night I'd sit and I'd do declarations like I will act in spite of fear, I will act in spite of doubt, I will act in spite of worry, I will act in spite of inconvenience, and so on and so forth, and speak about how I've got a millionaire mind. And when I was saying it, I knew I was lying, bro. I knew I didn't have any of those things. I knew I wouldn't act in spite of fear, I wouldn't act in spite of discomfort. But eventually you just say it so much to the point where you actually fucking believe it.
Yeah.
And like in the situation just now where I'm speaking about it, give me anything, bro, and I'm obsessed with that thing, mate, I will make it happen hands down, put my life on it. If I'm not, like, fucking throw me in a jail cell and throw away the key, mate.
Yeah.
It's mad because people listen to it, they'll be like, how? That'll be the question. How do you actually get there to that mindset of becoming the best at something? What would be like your advice to someone that's looking at that from like a football aspect?
I think like see nowadays it's sort of people people won't say things out loud, like, because they're worried about what people think in it. So for me, you could probably ask any of my teammates, I will say what I want. And there's no like filter there where it's like, oh, I'm going to say it this way so people like me or whatever. But they'll have the same thing as well. Like, they'll do a certain thing in a game, in training, whatever, because they're not trying to impress anyone. They're on their own path, innit? So, like, for somebody who wants to, let's just say it's a young boy who's like wanting to be a footballer, like, he's gonna have to go through things that it's gonna make people either dislike you or completely despise you, innit, because of the way you're being. But football's very like dog eat dog, innit? If you was in my position, we can be friends. Like, of course we can. Like, I'm close with all the guys that play in my position at Hearts, but when it comes to whether it's training or like a game, so say I'm on the pitch, he wants to be in my position, so therefore when he comes on the pitch, he's gonna try and do more than me, which is just, it's normal. Like, you have to sort of accept that along the way to becoming a footballer. You're going to either lose friends or you're going to take someone's position. So like, sort of like, don't do something to be liked, innit? Because if you're liked, I find that if you're loved by someone, like really loved, that they don't see you as a threat. So like, in football, you're close with all the team. Most teams now, you're so close with people that like, you don't really see it as like a competition. Because if one week he starts and the next I start, there's a balance to it. But you want to kick on in it, and so does he. So like, you want to get it to the point where he's not really getting game time, but you don't set up against him. Like, it's just that you want to be the one to be on the pitch rather than be on the bench. Because being on the bench, it's okay sometimes, but you don't want to be on it. Like, if that's in like a small game or a massive game, the same things apply. Like, you don't want to be that guy that's always on the bench. So like, in terms of a mindset, it's just back yourself more than you want to be liked, innit? Because nowadays everything leads back to being popular or being liked. Like, do you think Craig Gordon's bothered about what I think or what any of the boys think? He wants to achieve more and more, and he's not bothered how people see that or what people think, say. Like, look at his career. Like, he probably wouldn't mind me speaking about this, but he had so many injuries where like, people were writing him off, saying like he's injury prone. And even the likes of like Soapy as well. Soapy just got a move to Rangers, like buzzing for him. But back to Craigie, like, there's probably a time in Craigie's career where he was probably hearing this, like people saying, oh no, he's done, he's going to retire and da-da-da. And now look, like, the guy's come back from all that. And I have my opinion on it. I'm outspoken. They ain't a better keeper than Craig Gordon. No way. It's just not. Like, I've been at big clubs like Premier League teams and as an under-23s player, and there was brilliant keepers, of course, but he's something else. But it's a credit to him. But his mindset would have been, at some point, would have just switched, and maybe he's had it his whole life. I don't know, but like, for the injuries he had and for the likes of Soapy as well. See, when them things happen to you, like, you either take it and carry on, or you're sort of just, like, it is what it is. Like, it's not meant to be. But like, them two, just from like, obviously me being at Hearts, I've took it, like, I've seen, not Craigie, but I've seen when Soapy used to come in and he hadn't run for so long, and think like little things for Soapy was hard for him. Like, even walking, like, it was tough because he's just had his Achilles or whatnot. So like, people always see it as like, they're done, but they don't see what they go through.
Yeah.
Like, it is not, like, I done my hamstring, bro, and it took me a week to straighten my knee.
Yeah.
But you don't know what I felt like at that time.
Yeah.
So then when I do get back to my best, I couldn't really give a fuck about your opinion. Like, whether you like me or not, like, it's, you have to have that mindset of like, I really don't care. Like, nowadays people feel so entitled to discussing a footballer, and the game's actually set up against us. Like, people, so like, I don't know, I had, let's say I had a game and I was awful and we lost.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like, people jump behind their screens and, you know, they crack open a Monster and just start typing away, innit? And it's mad, bro, because see that person that's typing and feels like he's entitled to discuss you. When he sees you at the game, it'll be the same person that's asking you for a shirt or whatever. So in football now, as a footballer, you're not allowed to say anything. So like, if you walked into the street and you called someone, I don't know, anything, you called him anything, he's either punching your head in or he's just going to walk past you, innit? Yeah. But this is now where footballers have it so hard. Yeah. Because people can say, you're this, they can say anything about your family. But if I turn around to him on Twitter and say, all right, well, you look like this. Like, you look like a bulldog. Mate, I'm the bad person now. Yeah. So like, footballers now are seen as like, I can pelt you as much as I want. I can cuss you out until I fall asleep. But then when that footballer reacts, it's like, whoa. Like, I remember something, you know, when like the racism was getting flagged up. Yeah. Danny Rose had been like, I think it was at a Watford game. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it was on TalkSport. Yeah. Bro, somebody called and said, what's it matter if he's being racially abused? He's on 100K a week. Do you know how dumb that is? Like, that is like so many like people in football now. It's like you're put on something like where you're not a normal person. Yeah. So if I call you this and I call you that, like, the guy, I can't remember his words in it, but the guy was like, he's on 100K a week. He's not a normal person. Yeah. And like, that just sums up football now. Yeah. So like, you're getting racially abused, but because you're a millionaire, it don't bother anyone. But it's mad, mate. Like, that's how it goes.
It's like the hierarchy, or like this, like the social status of money, like money. So it's because most, like, everyone believes that obviously money will solve their problems, and that's where like I'm a big advocate of Naval Ravikant, and when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, spoke about it on so many different occasions, and he had, I think Joe was like speaking to him about like basically like putting this solution in place so that people could actually go on and live like fulfilling lives, and like the majority of people could do it. So it wasn't like now where the majority of people do something they hate for the rest of their life. And Joe was like, well, how do you actually get over the hump of people believing that money is going to solve their problems? And he's like, that's where I always turn around and I say, well, let me get you rich first, and then we'll see what you actually like doing, and what you actually love, and like what you actually care about, and what you're actually grateful for. And it's something that everyone believes that money is going to solve their problems in it, and it's not until you become rich or whatever it is, which is like, we're all chasing financial freedom to a certain extent, to be completely financially free so that money is not a problem, so you can go on and do whatever you want. But in terms of like, from a monetary aspect, people believe in, it's almost like, when I think about the thing you're speaking about Danny Rose, that guy's definitely sitting there thinking, well, if I got paid 100K a week, I wouldn't care. When in like reality, that's not the solution. Like, that's not even what should be getting spoke about in any way, shape or form. And I think one of the things you were speaking about prior as well, about being liked, I think that's something that one of my closest mates, Scott, admired it so much from him when I was growing up, because he was never part of any groups, he was never part of any circles, he was never. Me and him would sit at lunch, at break, and we'd have a roll and sausage, and it would just be me and him, mate. Nobody else, bro. Like, and it was like, that was unheard of at school. The fact that like two people would just want to just sit. It was like that'd be the weirdos, quote unquote, like doing that. Whereas it was just me and him, bro, and people would come over and chat to us and stuff like that, and everyone admired Scott, but Scott was never like in any of their circles. Scott was never part or to do with any of them. He was always doing his own thing. And I think an element of that as well, like we spoke about before, he was nuts at football, bro. So everyone respected him. Yeah. And it was like, whenever he was playing, he was always playing like year above, 2 years above. He was playing at Clyde for like 4 years until he had like 2 hernias in like 6 months or some mad stuff, bro. It was mental. And he like always respected no matter what, and I think that's where my mindset started to shift, was through his influence, because rather than me being like, well, he sits away from everyone, he doesn't want to speak to anyone, he's just doing his own thing, I admired that. So like I wanted to understand how or why he was doing it, and like how I could, because it was almost like he was completely internal, there was no external validation required whether somebody liked him or didn't like him. He just didn't care, bro, and I admire that so much, because everyone, even now, it's like when you're a kid, you think when you get older that's when you start to care less, which an element of that is true, because mortality comes into it. As you get older, you start to realise that your time is precious, which is what I get people care less about. But at that young age, for him, like we were like 15, 16, bro, when we used to sit and have those rolls and sausage, and it was something that when I used to go out with him or whatever it was, mate, like people, like he always got along with everyone, and everyone always liked him, even though he didn't care whether somebody liked him or not. And it was just because he was always himself no matter what. It didn't matter who it was, didn't matter if he was speaking to you or if he was speaking to me or if he was speaking to Paul, or didn't matter if he was speaking to my mum. He was always Scott Russell. It was never anyone else, bro. And people change to try and be liked more. And that's probably why, like, when you think about like the COD side of things, how we met, and for like anyone that's listening, me and Gino met through COD. We used to sit and play together, bro, and just chill. Met through Liam Boyce, and that was another thing, bro. Like when I'm playing COD, when I think back to when I used to compete in scrim and all the elements of my life that really helped me grow as an individual, there was an element of that people really lack in the gaming side of things, and that's why there's a stereotype behind people that are like, you know, they're unsociable, they don't have the social skills. It's they want to be liked so badly that they try and be someone that they're not. And I think that's where, like, when I reflect back on the soft skills that I got from gaming, which was being able to take constructive criticism in a way that wasn't personal, I wasn't being attacked. I was being told that, like, regardless how it came to me, if someone's barking at you, mate, it can make you feel like, you know, they're attacking you. But in reality, like, all people cared about was getting better, bro. And that was something that, going through that at a young age, people take everything personally. People think that everyone is out to get them, and it can be from it's a very victim-like mindset, mentality. And kind of back to my point anyways, like, when we met, I didn't try to be someone that I wasn't at the thought of me and you being good mates. Same with Liam, same with anyone I met through COD or gaming or anything like that. I mean, I sat, even like that, like, when I was rounding up my streaming career, sitting playing with Syndicate, bro. It was a don I used to watch like every day, mate. I used to watch his vlogs, like, but I didn't go on there trying to be something that I wasn't, there, because and rightly so, nothing came from it. But that's like, what if me and Syndicate aren't the same type of person, bro? That's calm, bro. That's chilled. I'm fine with that. Like, and that's where people really struggle, mate. They try and be someone they're not so that they can be liked, and then people then double guess themselves, double guess who they are, double guess how they've acted in a certain environment. And that's where, like, if you're not being true to yourself, say that situation with me and Syndicate, we played together for like 6 hours, right? Nothing's ever came from it. We don't follow each, like he's never followed me on Twitter. We've never went on and chatted outside of that 6 hours we played together.
Yeah.
If I wasn't being true to myself during that 6 hour time, I'd be sitting there thinking, what could I have done differently? What could I have said differently? How could I have built? And in reality, all you're getting that from is the social status of the fact that he's a huge YouTuber. When in reality, strip that away, it doesn't matter. If he's not your type of person, he's not your type of person.
But that's something. See, nowadays, like there's a lot of like opportunists. So
yeah, that's it, bro.
You can. So like there'll be even some of the big players up here, like the Rangers and Celtic boys, like they'll have people in their circle that are so like just waiting to get closer and closer, chasing something that's not even gonna happen. Like I got friends that play in the Premier League, Championship, like big players, like they got all the money, whatever. They know the reason why I'm close to some of them is because they know I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you've got that I need?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need it. Like, people chase something that is like, I'm going to be able to sit at his house.
Yeah.
His £1 million house, £2 million. What's that doing for you? Yeah. So like, and even like, see, like you'll probably see it yourself. Like somebody will be here, like say like, I don't know, let's say they're playing in like League One in England and boom, they have a mad season, they end up in the champ, and then like they go again and they end up in the Prem in the quick like 3-4 years and they're in the Premier League, and from being on that, I don't know, whatever a week to thousands on thousands a week. As they go along, there will be people that like are financial advisors.
Yeah.
And I think I seen something on, you remember Jamie O'Hara?
Yeah.
He was speaking about it. It was like when he was on this amount of money a week, it was fine because he had all these people around him saying like, listen, I can help you, I can give you this. But see the boys that are down there, like in League One, League Two, it's a struggle, bro. Like I've been the bottom tier of football in England. Like I was in a conference like back to back. Yeah. And the money I was getting was enough because I was a kid. Yeah. But there's boys that are on that because they just love playing football. But you will notice that they haven't got it around them. Mm-hmm. They don't have financial advisors because they don't care because they can't make enough money out of them. So they're opportunists. Yeah. Like people, genuinely, I've seen it in football out of like some of my old teammates, which like I'm not going to say names in it, but somebody will be flying and have all this interest, and out of nowhere you're getting close to the guy. You're thinking like, what are you doing? Like just trying, like chasing something that's not even there. Like, what's he going to do? Pay when you go out? Yeah. Like that. This is the problem with this generation. Like everybody, well, I won't say everybody, but most people now, they don't even know why they're trying to be their friend. Yeah. Like they can't put their finger on it, but it's just the fact that they can get the tables when they go out. When they go out to Dubai, they can be with this certain group and it's going to attract these certain girls or whatnot. Yeah. It's mad because see, when we all get to late 20s and early 30s, most of us are going to have kids and I ain't going to have time to like go snooping around him. Yeah. So like people lose what they want to do by chasing someone else's success in it. So
the social status aspect, man. Yeah. Like what people just like had I went out, it was like one of my mates I used to go to school with. He was having a birthday at the casino. And I stopped by just to see him, so I hadn't seen him in time, innit? One of the lads came up to me and he was like, mate, you're doing all this mad shit now, innit? And I was like, aye, like, yeah, like, I was just like laughing, like, having a joke with him. He was like, mate, I've been told, like, you're like mates with footballers and stuff now. And I was like just laughing because I was like, it's mad from the outside looking in, innit? That, like, that's all that is observed. And, like, the social status of that is what people see. Yeah. And it's also, and don't get me wrong, like, the lad that said it to me, Jack, he's lovely lad, lovely lad. It's just, from the outside looking in, because we didn't stay in touch or nothing like that, that's all he will see. And it's all people will speak about. And that's why it's all he'll see, because I'm a ghost when it comes to Instagram, bro. Or like, the only platform that I'm active on is Twitter, and it's just because of the gaming side of things. And just know that everything I put out a tweet, I could impact someone in a positive way, which is like enough for me to be there. Whereas every other aspect of my life, Instagram, Facebook, like, nobody knows what I'm doing, bro. The only way people can keep up with what I'm doing now is through YEN, through Young and Lazy, through my Twitter, through my stream. But outside of that, people will only see the aspects that other people speak about, which I like, because it's people speak about what they want to speak about, and I don't care. So it opens the floor, and him coming up and speaking to me about that, and that being one of the first things he says to me, is a reflection of that's what everyone else is speaking about.
Yeah.
And it's just getting caught up in the wrong things, bro. And just like you were saying, the financial advisor stuff and stuff like that, bro. Like, we know, like, chatting to Boise about it, we spoke about it in the podcast as well, man. Like, he, some of the opportunities that were presented to him, bro, that were, won't go into detail on it. Because it's not my place to anyways, but it just comes from an element of, right, cool, how much money can I make from this certain situation, rather than how can I actually impact or change someone's life? How can I affect them positively? How can I actually weigh up my end of helping this person? And that's where, when Liam came to me, I was speaking to him about being a Young and Lazy ambassador, doing some stuff with YEN, and he just sat there and he was just like, can you tell me what YEN actually is? Because I get it, but I don't really get it. And I just sat and chatted with him, and he went, bro, I want to go into property in it. And I was like, yeah, that's calm, mate. Like, do you need me to do anything? He was like, well, I didn't know you had anyone that could do anything. I was like, bro, I've got Blair Colley, I've got his dad, I've got Kath Parrington, all these individuals that are just phenomenal people that I trust hand on heart. Like, I know they'd do anything for me, and I'd do anything for them. And just put me in contact with just a few people, bro. The amount, like, I remember Boise texted me and he was like, what do you want for this? And I'm like, bro, I don't want anything, mate. Like, what? Like, that wasn't why I done it. I just knew that this sort of situation could help you, and that's the most important part for me. It's not anything to do with, okay, so if I do this, then I can get something back in return. And that's why I had people reaching out to me when Young and Lazy was launching. It was like, what are you offering these footballers that are coming on board? I'm like, bro, if you actually want an honest answer to what I'm offering my friendship. Me. Like, there's no money to exchange. It's actually got to the point now where, I know he won't mind me saying this, but like Declan Gallagher, we've done a podcast episode, we chatted about it after. I told him that we were launching, where I was thinking about doing a clothing brand and stuff like that. And I was having issues with the caps, bro. And it required a fat deposit to get caps, and that's why we've not got any just now. And I just was like, I try and do things logically. Even if I've got the money to put into the brand, I want it to run as best possible without me just injecting cash in it all the time. So I was like, I'll just leave the caps, bro. I don't need to put in the fat deposit. I don't need dead stock sitting there as well, because I don't know what the demand's going to be like. I'm sitting chatting to Deck, bro, and Deck's like, I'll pay for it for you. I'm like, nah, like that wasn't what, that's not, like, if I wanted to do it, then I would do it. But once again, that doesn't come from, like, I've not done anything for Deck, but he's just willing to help me just because we're mates, we get along, we chat. I just see him as a mate, and that's all it is. And it's like you're saying, people just look at it from an opportunity standpoint, never anything more like logical. Like, just being friends with someone is enough for me to go out and do anything for them. But I used to have dreams of like saving my friends from, like, that was like, I would die for them. That was like my mindset, what my mindset was like. And I would like Scott I was speaking about earlier, man, like, we used to sit and like actual, like, we'd shake hands and we'd just make a pack and we'd speak on things, and it would be like, I would actually die for you, mate. Like, actually, and he would say the same thing to me, and I'd actually believe it. And it's like, that's what you're actually building when you're building relationships with people, and you're actually getting to know them. And it's where the actual greater relationships come from, rather than just, I'm boys with Gino because he's fucking football for Hearts. Like, it's just ridiculous, bro.
I think nowadays, like, people will look at like the likes of me and think I'm on thousands and thousands. It's not the case. And I don't try portray that to to people and like make it look like I'm a million. I'm nowhere near, but I don't care. Like, see me, I'm happy with what I've got. I'm blessed to have my family, my health. Like, people chase money so much. It's like, it's just cringy. Like, people get a little bit of money and it's like, now they're wearing designer.
Yeah.
Mate, settle down. Like, who are you trying to impress? Because number one, most people don't care.
Yeah.
And number two, whoever does care, you need to be careful about them, innit?
Yeah.
Because nowadays, if you wear a Gucci top, and you drive a Range Rover, you've got money to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're probably going home to even like, to an extent, yeah, people have a Range Rover and Gucci head to toe, but you're splitting the rent with your parents.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you're paying however much a month.
Mm.
Like, that's now seen as like it's okay.
Yeah.
But surely you'd rather just move out and not have all this Range Rover and all these like designer things, just to be on your own, like have independency. Like,
yeah,
it's just the way this generation is, bro. It's like, if it looks like you have something, then you have something.
Yeah.
But if you don't look like you have something, like all the billionaires of this world, I would never dress like that, ever. But they've got way more money than most of us could ever get to.
Yeah.
But you don't see them in Yeezys and all these things, like all designer Jordan, all this, like, you don't.
Yeah.
They just wear what they like, and it's probably not as expensive as what someone will spend who just has a normal job.
Yeah.
So like, it just sums up the generation, you know.
100%, bro. I've actually realised that we've barely spoke about what I had planned. And I'm actually looking at the Word document. But one of the things that we're kind of touched on just now, mate, is like the element of trust. And when we think about like you and Boise, the relationship that you have, like what actually, like, to you actually generates that level of trust in a friendship or a teammate to like the level that you have like with someone like Liam?
I think, do you know what? I think it's just like, see, when Boise first seen me, no joke, he thought that I was going to be a dick, basically.
Yeah.
And I think even Nazy, like, before he retired, he said something in the program about like, I turned up in all this gear and stuff. But that's not, it wasn't to me. Like, it was just, this is what I'm comfy in. Because sometimes boys will admit it. If you speak to Deck will not, like, if he's going somewhere for the first day, he ain't coming in all designer, and because it make like people instantly judge. Yeah. But that's me being me. I'm just putting my stuff on. I'm not bothered about whether you lot like me or not. Yeah. And like, that kind of got across quickly probably. But then me and Boise just, after we fought that, like a couple weeks in, he started to realize that, oh nah, he ain't that person at all. Like, he just, like, people, I ask about people's like families and like wives and whatnot, because nowadays it's more of like people try and form something off just them, and that, like, I always go for what matters most to them and what they like, innit? Yeah. And that Boise was the same with me. Like, I could name Boise's kids, I could name his missus, like, because they're the people that mean most to him. And like, I swear to God, I could walk in Boise's house now and his missus would say hello to me. I know his kids, like, they recognize me, Scout definitely. Like, so it's sort of with me and him, it was like, and Cod as well. Yeah. I swear to God, he's a bot, by the way. Let me just get that on record. But it's like, we just connected on every level. And even when like I was injured, he'd drop me home and stuff. Like, I couldn't drive because I couldn't bend my leg. So obviously I couldn't accelerate or brake. So like, just little things, like, he knows that if he ever needed me to do anything for him, like, I'll do it. And even little things like the other month, I had to go home or something quick. And I said to him like, oh, can you come and let my dog out, please? But then, yeah, no problem. Like, come, got my dog, let him out. And then I must have left my key at his house.
Yeah.
So then he had to drive back rather than saying like, oh, get a taxi. Just little things like,
Yeah.
and I'll do the same for him. Like, he's probably one of my closest friends ever in football.
Yeah.
And like, he's probably going to be smiling when he sees it. So, but no, it's just easy as well. Like, nothing's forced. Like, it weren't a case of I'm going there knowing that Boyce is that good at football and like, I'm trying to move around him. Like, even now in the changing room, somehow we sat next to each other. That was not planned. So like, I get on with most people, innit? Like, the only kind of person I don't get on with is just, and people are just dicks. Yeah. Like, you think you're above someone, or you've got money, so like you think I'm here, you're that. Nah, forget that.
Yeah, 100%. I get a vibe off Boyce as well, mate. It just tries to will do anything for you, mate. And it's the kind of like, it's weird because it's like an aura, or like a gut instinct, and it's back to what Tim Grover speaks about. Like, that's what I was thinking about you when you're saying it's like instinctive. Like, a lot of people like overthink the decisions that they make, and like, when in reality, like, majority of the time, you just trust your gut instinct, bro, you'll be sound. And like, rather than going, but on this hand I've got this opportunity, but on this hand I've got this, but if I do this then I'll have this, and like, just make a decision, do it, bro. If it's the wrong decision, like, learn from it. What did you miss? What could you have done better next time? You just move forward, bro, and you won't care about it even 2 days from now, bro, 5 days. And if it's something that's terrible, mate, you still won't care about it a couple of years from now. The emotion won't be the same, bro. And it's something that, when we reflect on like where we were before, or the kind of person we was, even when I think back to like when I was like 18, kind of person I was now, the stuff I would stress over, I don't experience any of that now, but just having an element of gratefulness and perspective when looking back on it. But one of the things I did actually write down to speak about was, do you know Simon Sinek is? No. He does, because it was just on the back of that trust aspect with like Boise, because I had a feeling that you would have an answer like that, because I see, it's very easy to see when we went for food and stuff like that, like it's Jimmy Carr speaks about it as like the free flow state, where time's gone, time's done, like, you know, you're there, you blink, 4 hours are gone by. And like, that being in that free flow state, like, that's when you're with the people you should be with. That's where and that's what like I experienced when I went for food. Before I knew it was done, I was back in my car, we were away. And I think when Simon Sinek had a short video that went viral on Instagram, and he was speaking about how he went into the Navy SEALs, and he was basically asking them, like, how do you determine who to be in whatever the top, it's like the entry level, or what, not the entry level, it's like, I can't remember that exact. I should have.
I think, is this, I don't know if it's the same guy, but is this where he said like only, like, there's only ever been, like, I think he said 23 or something black guys or something, about like that make it into like the Navy SEALs or something like that.
It wasn't that, but it probably was him that spoke about something like that, because he refers, he does a lot of work with the Navy SEALs and stuff like that, but it was something to do with a specific team. I can't remember. It's like the top team in Navy SEAls. Paul, do you know? Out of curiosity. SEAL team, the SEAL, is it SEAL team? It's something like that anyways, bro. Basically the top like Navy SEALs team, like, it's like the top of the crop, and he was basically saying, like, to all the Navy SEALs, how do you decide who goes in this team? And he was like, one of the guys got up and drew a graph, and the graph was like, the bottom side of the graph was trust, the top side of the graph was performance, and it was like, he circled like top performance but zero trust. And he was like, the guy that circled it was like, nobody wants that fucking guy. Nobody here wants that guy. It doesn't matter how good you are, but if you're ignorant, if you have got zero trust, if you don't care who's behind you, who's in front of you, like, none of us want you here. And it was like, I would much rather have this. And it was like, he basically circled the furthest right to trust in like a middle performer. He was like, I'd much rather have a middle performer that I trust with my wholeheartedly than someone that's the top highest performer but zero trust, zero loyalties, zero respect. Everyone that, when we're evaluating who to go into that top team in the Navy SEALs, all based on trust. And that's where, like, bro, see in business and stuff like that, mate, the reason people buy from each other is because of trust, but it's a matter of like vampires, man, that are just out to just suck the blood from you, bro. They suck the money out of you, man. It was one of the main reasons I fucking built Y in the first place, because nobody should have to deal with that, bro, where they go into a network or they meet people for the first time and all they're all thinking about is the opportunity, just like you're saying, the opportunities, how much money can I make off this guy or this girl.
That's why it always leads back to that though. Like it's everything leads back to somebody being an opportunist. When see, like my best friend, like ever, his name's Naz, isn't it? Naz used to give me money that his mum and dad would give him from school for me to eat after school, because I didn't have nothing. I had nothing, bro. And obviously, like what we spoke about earlier, I didn't have anything, bro. So see, like even now that, like when I actually made my debut and stuff like that, and stuff was coming out, like I was gonna be this level of footballer and whatnot. He didn't change up. Like Naz, even to this day, bro, if I was to sign for Man United in a year's time and I was the highest paid player in the world, he would not change. So like, that's someone that I would easily be able to have around me. Like, there's nothing part of him that is wanting to be with me for anything but being my brother. Like, he is my brother, not just because of he used to give me his money for like lunch money, and it weren't a case of me bullying him or getting onto him. It's the fact that he was my brother and I was his brother, and to this day he knows that if he needed me to do anything for him or even give him anything, it's not a question. It's done, because never would he change up. Like whether I was this big guy or I was here, he's still gonna be like my best friend ever. And it will never change. So like, I think sometimes, like when it comes to the business industry, it's like, man, everyone's just a dog, mate. Like
100%.
People will try and get, like, even with clothing brands will like won't give it to a specific league player. So like, when I was at Walsall, before that, when I was on loan at like Altrincham from Burnley and stuff, no one was interested in giving me that, and like I didn't get anything. But then a few years went on, and like I went to Preston, boom, financial advisor, like clothing brands just sending me stuff, just not even like. And her low, really, it was like instant, give me your address, I'll send you this, I'll send you that. So like, clothing brands are quite bad for it. Like they won't give someone who's playing here a tracksuit, but the guy who plays for this team, you can have whatever you want. Because it's once again like opportunist mentality that, hopefully, fingers crossed, he uploads a picture in it. Then that looks like we're tied in. It's not, because he don't respect you. You're just sending him stuff. Like when these dropped, I weren't looking at you thinking, let me just rub him up and get one of these jumpers. It's not the case. Like I'd already connected with you to the point where I was saying to Boise, like, I know he told you, it's like, I was like, nah, Boise, John's some guy. Like, you were trying to help me. Remember my PC was mashed.
Yeah, PC was finito, bro,
So, like, you didn't need to sit there after your stream for an hour and chat to me. And you didn't have to ask me, like, offer me help in terms of what to do with this and that. So, like, instantly, I took from that, like, this guy ain't trying to be someone he's not. He's just trying to be a good person. Like, whether something came out of it or not. So, when the hoodies dropped, in my head, I have an instinct that I don't want to show you that like I'm supporting you, like, look at me, like I'm trying to get in. It's the fact that you've been good to me, and I see good things from you all the time. So therefore, if I can help you in any way, I'll do it silently. Like I wouldn't ever, like when me and Boise spoke about like investing in you, it wouldn't really be an investment, bro. Because it's not like want anything back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the fact that like we're close friends, innit? So that's what you do. You help people.
Yeah.
And it's not a case of like, I would want to help you now. So then in 5 years time, I can call you and say, I remember when I helped you.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's just nowadays, this is the problem. Like people forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is always, oh yeah, but I paid for your taxi last week, so you pay for mine. No,
I hated that shit, bro.
it's mad.
Yeah.
I'll never ever like. I've never had boys like that. One of my friends, the guy actually admits like I don't pay for nothing. Like he always ends up being that guy that don't pay.
Yeah.
Like anywhere we go, he just seems to get the ride for free. But like it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't look at him and single him out. Like we make it funny, but he's still our best boy. Like we never would not invite him to a place or whatnot. It just ends up being like he gets away with it. Like he'll be out the club or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but nowadays it's like everything's tit for tat.
Yeah.
It's eye for an eye. Like if I do that for you, I expect you to do this for me. It's not that. That's why relationships are so mad.
Yeah, they're fucked, bro. I actually think back to the reason why I laughed is because this son I used to go to school with, and I just so happened to get me and a couple of boys got a taxi home with him in it. And it just so happened that he had the cash, bro, and he paid for the taxi in it. And we were all obviously like, had a good amount to drink, got home, crashed, whatever. I had a text from him the next morning, bro, and he was like, John, here's my bank details in it, you owe me £3.60. And I was just I was like, it's just mad, bro, because and I get it, bro, some people might be tight, some people, and they might, maybe that like is like a deal breaker for them, and it, yeah, I mean, I respect that, bro, but it's, when I think about Scott, for example, me and Scott would just, unless it was Nando's, because Nando's is so easy to you just pay for your own food and that's it. There's no like splitting the bill or nothing, you just pay for your own scran. But we just pick up food, I'd pick up food, he'd pick up food, I'd pick up food, he'd pick up, and it was just, there was no, even if it happened like twice in a row, where he picked up food, it didn't matter, bro. It was that wasn't like the make or break. And yeah, got a lot to admire on that front, mate. And when you put that proposition to me, man, I was fucking, yeah, bro, I was blown away, mate. To be fair, I was chatting to Rebecca about it. I was like, when Boise text me, and chat to my mum and stuff like that as well, bro. And it was just, yeah, it's hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
To begin with, bro. But when you have the correct people around you, that's like one of the things I wrote down. Like you know the saying, like people say it all the time, like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with and stuff like that. Like when you're hanging around with people that just have a different level mindset or just think completely differently in terms of like the way you're thinking, I know people are listening to this, maybe not this is so much listen to this, but I know people that I would go to school with, they would think, would I fuck invest in John Hamilton? You know, would I like, or would I even, I wouldn't even give money to anyone, you know, that's my money, like in the attitude of that. But whereas like to you, money is abundant. You can find money anywhere, bro. And it's like having the mindset of abundance, and that's what Paula will go into so like great detail about. Like when you've got the mindset of abundance, especially from a monetary aspect, but if money just comes to you, mate, it's actually mental, and it sounds like a fairy tale. But when you have an abundance mindset and your relationship with money is great, it's fantastic. Money is not an obstacle, bro, and as a result of it not being an obstacle, you just become a magnet, mate. You become a magnet for opportunities. You become a magnet for people that are phenomenal individuals. You become a magnet to money, and it just naturally happens, bro. And that's what I felt like in that moment. I felt so privileged that he's even put that proposition to me, and I just felt like blown away. But the more like I sat and thought about, like, I would do the same for you, innit? Yeah. And it's just, and that's where it just became more like relaxed and normal almost. It was mad. So just be mindful of the time, mate, to be fair. We've probably been talking for like an hour and 15 minutes. When you think about like your mindset, would you say you got the mindset of a high performer?
I would say so, yeah. Like, see, the problem is I believe that no matter what your mindset is, everybody's is like similar but not the same. It's weird. Like, so like some of the top, they'll think similar things to me, but it'll also be mad different. Because there's certain things that trigger you, certain things that don't trigger you, certain things that put you off, certain things that put you on, innit? But my like, if I had to sort of explain my mentality, it'd be, I just don't care what people think of me as a person or as a player. I don't care if you like me. I don't care, like, if you think I'm something that I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I think the main thing to sum it all up would be like, don't watch what anybody thinks, innit? Like, it's so time consuming, you know? Like, see when I got sent off against Rangers, I was getting pelted, mate, left, right, and centre by, like, even some of my own fans that I'd annoyed because I got a red card. The Rangers fans, I was getting like messages, but like, see when that's all over, like, that's when you have to either think, all right, I will never meet you. Like, we're never gonna be in the same room. Like, I've just got to take what I get because I got sent off. Very clear that I'm gonna get abused for a couple of days, and then see after that, bro, you'll the next game you'll score or whatever.
Well, you came back bag too, innit?
And then that guy who hated me loves me for a minute, and then the next week he's gonna hate me again. So it's like, sort of, like, I even do work now, bro. We have someone at the club, innit, that helps us for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she speaks about like how long something can affect you for. And it's true, because if you have a bad game, you can actually let it settle in your mind until the next game, but then you go into the next game with that on your mind, like the same scenario might happen. So like, when it comes to, like, if you want to do something, just don't let things affect you as much. And it, like, you can have a bad period. Everybody has a bad period in football. Like, where they don't play, don't score, don't feel fit, don't feel sharp. But then it's how long that affects you for, innit? Because every footballer will go in some days and be like, I can't stand it. Like, that is it. If anybody says that don't happen, that's a lie, innit? Because there's no way that every day you're gonna feel like motivated.
You become accustomed to your surroundings, innit? You almost forget that, like, that is your norm. Innit? So,
like, I always love when, like, football is nothing without fans, bro. Absolutely nothing. But you know what? Like, drawing back to what I said earlier, football is the game set up against us. Like, football's nothing without a footballer. So like, you see, like, fans are massive. If fans weren't in football, it wouldn't be nothing. That's a fact. But then there's also the other side of it where, like, I know all the banter was coming out about like player welfare and stuff, but I think Ian Wright said it one time. See, when all these guys message you and they want to be saying things about you, your family, whatever, you should be able to go and like see them or say something back. But obviously it's never going to be that way, because footballers are always like, you're just done over. You can't win, innit? Because if you reply, you look like you're being a big time guy. And then if you don't, you have to just take hits constantly.
It's like an image, because we've seen see what we spoke about, bro. I think I was speaking to Deck about like Liam Cooper. Who's the leads in it, and because Liam used to come out my stream, I said to Deck, I was like, "You're right." It's nothing worse when that happens, bro. You're good. And I was saying to Deck, and I was like, just like running through names. I was like, do you think Liam like would be up for coming on the pod and stuff like that? And he was like, Premier League teams like don't really, like, they don't. It's not that they don't allow it. It's like the image aspect of something's potentially being said then gets taken snippeted out of context, and then it's put in the public eye, and then Leeds, say it was Leeds for example, Leeds are then like shunned for it, and we didn't ask Liam, like we didn't even know if that would be the answer, but that was what we assumed would potentially be the answer. And I spoke to this young lad that was meant to have Billy Gilmore on his podcast, and that same thing happened where Chelsea intervened, and it was very much like all that shit with Molly May that happened, the like blow up and stuff like that. That's why, because all it takes is a wee snippet that's out of context, and instantly your image is damaged, quote unquote. If anyone's not seeing what I'm doing just now, quotations damaged, because
you're on there.
nah, no, but in case anyone's listening, just an audio in it. And it's but it's like the image aspect is like what most of the clubs like fascinate over and think it's really important, and I get it to an extent, but it's like coming past all that sort of shit. Kind of we've spoken about before, like, about the media and stuff like that. They only zone in on the areas that are going to get like clicks, get people actually thinking about it, and like the things that people care about, which is weird that people would care about stuff like we're speaking about. It's
tough. Like, see, like Pogba. Pogba's like, so he's French, but he's like, French guys are all, they love to dance, and like his roots from Africa, whatever. Like, see when he wants to dance and stuff, and then you got people going at him because Man U lost. And then he's dancing with his family on Instagram or whatnot. Who are you to talk? Like, people feel in football, it's mad because people feel that entitled to you because you play for their club. You have no right to discuss me, because see if we done one day a year, where I'd love to do it. Honestly, I'd love to do it. Right. Get the moaniest guy who constantly pelts you, messages you, says you're this, you're that, you're the worst player that's ever played for the club. I would love to go one day into where he works, sit opposite him and batter him. He would not make it. If we started at 9, it'd be home by 12. Max. Absolute max. And it'd be a lesson, because like nowadays footballers ain't allowed to be themselves.
No.
Because you, like you saying about the snippets, someone might take something out of this, but I don't care. No. I actually don't care. Like, genuinely, like I said at the start, you could walk into a room now and someone won't like you.
Yeah.
You'll never win. You'll never ever win. Like, so it gets to the point where do you watch that? Like, do you chase that where you want to be a people pleaser, or do you say like, all right, so I'm not asked like if you like me or not?
Gives you an element of peace as well, because you're not like, you were so obsessed with it, man, and it really consumes them. I used to hear like my mum will be raging for me bringing this up in it, but she used to say things to me like, like the garden's a mess. Like, what do you think the neighbours will think? I'm like, Mum, the neighbours don't care, man, and if they do care, like, that's pretty peak. Like, they actually care about our garden and how it looks and stuff like that. And she, like, obviously her mindset is like really shifting. That's why she's succeeding so much in business. And a lot of stuff that we get, it's like spotlight syndrome, man. We believe like everyone's looking at us all the time and everyone cares about what we're doing, but in reality, man, everyone's got their own worries and nobody really cares, man. At least the people that matter don't care, you know.
Yeah, like, see, he's like he's not my father figure in football, but he's like, I owe him a lot in it.
Yeah.
Mickey Mellon, his name is, like, guy brought me through, gave my debut, and I always remember he said to me one day, like, put his arm around me. He's quite broad Scottish, isn't it? But see, when he used to shout, it just shocked the room, man. Like, he was loud. I remember we was trying to win the league, was trying to go up, and at this time we had a mad team like Connor Goldson, Ryan Woods.
What team was this at?
Shrewsbury.
Oh, Shrewsbury. Yeah.
So like, I'm a young kid coming into that, and I'm getting on the bench every game or every other game, and I got a couple appearances and whatnot. But I remember it come out that I wasn't taking a new deal.
Okay.
And at this point, bro, I was like 16, 17. So like, I started getting pelted at a young age by fans on Twitter. And because he was more bothered about the player, which is just sums him up as a person, like he's one of the best guys in football. And he put his arm around me one day and was like, I think he was training at the stadium. And he just went to me like, look there. And he was like, they were just the fans, innit?
Yeah.
And he was like, out of all them people, which one knows you?
Yeah.
None of them. None of them. So like, see, when it comes to like not being liked and stuff as a footballer nowadays, bro, you have to deal with it. It's actually not your business if someone don't like you though.
Yeah.
Like if I walk out there and somebody don't like me, what can I do? Because even if I try like nice you up and rub you up in a kind way, you still might not like me. So why am I gonna be bothered?
Yeah.
Like it's nowadays it's just confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and I see why the average person maybe sometimes feels entitled to have an opinion.
Yeah.
But you just don't.
100%, bro. So let's put this mindset to the test then. We'll do some quick fire questions on it.
Oh.
So when you think about like who do you spend your time with on a regular basis?
At the minute up here, my dog.
Your dog?
Yeah.
What's he saying to it?
He's flying,
Meek.
the boy. He's flying. He's stopped all the madness. But nah, I can't. It's quite weird because obviously coming up here, I don't really have the chance to just, sort of bring people up and like, so I actually do spend every day with my dog. Apart from today.
Yeah. Outside of your dog though, who do you spend your time with?
Up here or just in general?
Well, when you think about like the norm.
So the norm right now for me would be like Boise, like teammates in general.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if like Jordan Roberts as well, like, so that'd be it for me right now. Yeah.
Because the basis of that question is obviously like you talking about it earlier about you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I actually had a guy bring some of these questions up to me, and they really posed a lot of like deep thoughts for me, and just going deeper into it, because I always think about who I spend my time with, but like the way he looked at it was like, cool, if I'm spending, this is maybe comes from an opportunist like mindset as well, but it was like, if I'm spending my time with you all the time and you're hanging out with one person out of your 5 that doesn't have a strong mindset, that is, let's just say they're shit, right? It's hard for me to really like pinpoint my mindset from being beneficial from hanging around with you if your mindset is 1/5 is shit.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it just comes, it's like for me, like the relationships that I build and the people that I hang around with and I speak with, and it's all pretty natural, bro. And it's not, doesn't come from an opportunity like aspect, and I think naturally it's evolved more into speaking to people like yourself and fucking hell, my chest nearly just choked on nothing, like Paul choking on water. Like naturally as I've evolved, my circle has evolved, but just through like, and it's not from a monetary aspect but from a mindset aspect. And money is just a scoreboard, bro. Money just is a reflection of the standards that you have, just because money is a game. And I think that's what I've realised more and more, and that's why I spoke to Paul about it, like when I came in, like I will write a book when I'm older and it'll be about how gaming gave me the soft skills to be a millionaire. Because it helped me understand something like COD, bro. 100 million active players in April of 2020 when Warzone was popping. If I was, even on the scoreboards, I was 300th in the world. I was playing in tournaments like Twitch Rivals, World Series of Warzone, the top 150 players in the world in a game that's got 100 million active players, bro. It's fucked. Like the statistics of that, like 0.0000, it just goes on, mate. And to think that I got myself to that level, I could do that in anything, bro. It literally doesn't matter. I could do that in anything that I put my mind to. And that's where it literally did, bro. Gave me the soft skills. One, like I spoke about earlier, to give feedback, and also I learned a lot about what people hated about me. But it was like rightfully hated about me though. Like the way I'd speak to people, the way I'd give criticism, just being a really shit leader, bro. And like that was all I learnt through COD, being a shit leader, and that's why I came away from COD, because the competitive aspect, which Tim Grover speaks about in Relentless, like Michael Jordan, like mindset, we're winning at all costs. Nothing else matters, man. Yeah. And he was speaking about one of the, you might not have got to the stage in the book yet, but Michael Jordan, like turned up to training the next day, and there was a player, and he was like, "Where is so and so?" He's like, "Oh, he's in getting treatment at the physio." He's like, "No, he's fucking not." Walks in, flips the fucking table that he's sitting on, tells him to get the fuck up and to get back into the fucking like basketball court. And like Tim's like referring to it almost like in that mindset, like he does not give a fuck about you, like at all. Like, and all he cares about is winning. And in his mindset, everyone's sore, everyone's rough, everyone's feeling it. And if that's your excuse to just going in and sitting on the physio table and just having a day off, get the fuck out of his team. And it was very much like, I believe that, I think a lot of people believe that they need to be a certain way in order to be successful. And for me, bro, that way doesn't align with me in terms of my conscience. And that's where I'm becoming more into myself, that I want to deploy the emotional ingredients like kindness, like empathy. And I believe that no matter what, I'm going to become successful no matter what route I take. But that's the route that best aligns with me. And I think that when I'm in the kind of COD environment, when I'm like so focused on winning and that's all I care about, bro, I don't actually like the side that comes out. And it's like, in a situation like, do you know Porky?
Yeah.
We were playing a tournament, bro, and I'm like not embarrassed to like speak about this whatsoever, and it's definitely not a reflection of like who I am, but this was like the turning point for me. And we were chatting, bro, we were playing a tournament. We won the first game, bro. Everyone was in it. It was an NA tournament as well. We were on dead ping, like we were, all odds were stacked against us. First customs map, won it. We got like 17 kills, 2x points. We were top by like a good bit. Second game rolls around, bro, we come second, but we choked. We choked so bad, and winning 2 games back to back in customs is like, you know yourself in it, like you're chilling, bro. And this was this huge tournament, and we kind of, I believe that we'd lost that second game because of Paul's communication. So Paul's communication, it was a miscommunication. He called something that was very relaxed, when in reality it should have been a more heightened call. It should have been something that was more, he's right beside you, he's pushing you, you know, getting actual fed. Whereas him, he was just like, oh, he's behind the wall. And I'm like, what wall? And then before I knew it, he was on me, bro. I was dead. And I was in the gulag. And I was raging about it, bro. I was like, what is your comms all about? Like, what's the script there? Like, what's happening? And he was like, and because of the type of person Paul started like nervously laughing. And in that moment, bro, I was pissed, mate. I was like, he's fucking laughing at me. Are they not taking this shit seriously? Like, we're in this fucking massive tournament, you're fucking laughing at me, you're taking the absolute piss. And he couldn't, just because that's the type of person Paul was, he wasn't laughing to be spiteful, he was just laughing because he was nervous. I'd never really spoken in that way to him, and I was meant to be almost like a leadership role. And it did, bro. He got his back up against the wall, we ended up arguing. And I remember I was like, mate, if you want to fucking give me communication, make sure it's not a miscommunication, make sure it's exactly what I need in order to move forward. And when I call you out on it, don't fucking shy away from it, take ownership of it. And he just like, he didn't know how to handle it. He kind of nervously laughed again, and then he stuttered his words and he couldn't get his words out. And I was so pissed in the moment, bro, that I just started ripping the piss out of him, mate. It was horrible, mate. It was horrible. I literally was just like imitating like because that's what he couldn't get his words out. And he was like, I was like, get your fucking words out, speak it with your chest, and we'll fucking win this tournament. We ended up coming third, bro. And after it, I was sitting, I was watching it back, and I was like, I am a fucking cunt, mate. Like, in that environment, I am a cunt. And I didn't like it, mate. I didn't like it at all. And even while we were still in the tournament, when it got towards the end, I apologised to Paul, made sure it was on stream, because even my stream were like, the chat was like, what the fuck's going on with John? Like, he's never like this, because I was always relaxed, chilled, mindset, empathy, kindness over everything. And that's why I done things like Mindful Mondays. But in that moment, bro, it was like the dark side of like, I want to win at all costs. I'm sick of fucking losing, bro. I don't care if I'm one of the best players in the world. I'm sick of losing. And it ended up being really harmful to the team, bro. We would have won that tournament if I didn't do that, mate. And it was that was one of the turning points for me, where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Because why am I competing? I love COD, but I've got something like YEN I've got something that's going to go on and be so successful. I'm going to change so many people's lives. I'm going to impact people in a way that is astronomical. Why am I fucking like competing in an environment that's so stressful just for what? Money and exposure? Like, that's fucking shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to be there? And that was the turning point for me, bro, because it just wasn't worth it, mate. Not in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Paul's fucking nuts as well, mate. Paul's like a different gravy. He's going to go on and be one of the best players in the world.
To be fair, I watched one of his games a couple days ago. But yeah, he's good, mate.
Yeah, different gravy, bro. Second question, what are your priorities and why are they your priorities?
So my first priority is myself. Well, nah, not myself. I'd say my mum.
Yeah.
So reason why that is because she's the reason that I'm here today. Not even in terms of like being born in it. I'm talking about like I could have easily went down a different path. Like very, very easy. Like so my mum, my family in general, like that's all that matters to me, innit? So like football is I don't care about it when it comes to my family. Yeah. Like it's nothing like things like money and stuff like that. I don't actually care. Yeah. As long as like waking up every day and being healthy, that's the richest you'll ever be, innit? Yeah. In my life anyway. So like my priorities, my mom, my family, my dog, which is family, but like and just I'd say last myself, like because when I wake up, the first thing I do is make sure that my mum's okay. Yeah. Like just text her, whatever, family text them and go check on the dog. Then I'll sort myself, innit? But I think the reason behind that is because I feel like as long as I take care of my family, I'm happy, innit? Like I'm not that bothered about just myself. It's more if my family are okay, I'm okay. Yeah. So
love it, mate. Love it. I actually thought when you said yourself to begin with, I was thinking you were going to say your mum. You realised that anyway. So what do you believe what is the bullshit that you tell yourself that is holding you back?
What do you mean by that? Like
when you think, the reason I'm asking this question is basically to tap into your self-awareness. What is something that you consistently do that is maybe stopping you from being one of the best players in the world?
I probably, what I struggle with is like anger in it. So like I will do something and it'll piss me off that bad that I take too long on it. Yeah. So like we were saying half an hour ago, like how long something affects you. That's what I struggle with because like even not playing in that. If I'm not playing in a certain game and I feel like I should be, sometimes it can affect me too long, innit? So like that'd be something that pisses me off, and it's just bullshit. Because once the game's going, I'm fine. Yeah. Whether I'm on the bench or not, but leading up to it, I'll be pissed off about it.
You feel like it holds you back?
Yeah.
How well do you take advice?
Yeah, well, I've see like anything that I know that's actually good advice. Like I'm not taking bullshit on board. Like, and you feel that within yourself anyway. Like I'm my own person, so if I believe something's bullshit, then I'm not taking it. But if it's actually like good, like structured advice, like not just, you know, when people start advising you and saying, "Oh, do this, do that," and then you've got to do it. Nah, that's bullshit advice. But if it's actual like structured, and like say when like I'm coming on board with you lot now and Paula, like from that first meeting, it ain't gonna be a case of like I'm gonna go like, "Oh, I'll take that," but I'm not gonna take that. I'm not dissecting nothing because I'm new. So therefore, I will. As soon as I click that Zoom meeting or whatever it is, it's like open mindset time. Yeah. Not I'm gonna dissect this and take what I like, because that ain't how I'm gonna move forward with what Paul is trying to help with. So I would say, I'm good at taking it.
Love it, man. 100%, bro. Now, last question, we kind of touched on it already, but obviously only 0.012% of players make it at a professional level in football. When did it click for you that you're going to make it?
I would probably say I knew like from when I was 8, like I believed in myself that much that I would do it because I would just at 8 I was probably top boy. I won't lie, like, and other boys that are in the Prem now or my friends, they'll probably admit that too. Yeah, but I would say it clicked probably after. So I had my debut, and then I think 2 weeks later I played against Plymouth, but I got brought on at like half time. So that from playing like 4 minutes to then the next time being 45. But I come on and changed the game completely. Like I was a young kid. I think I was 16, 17. Yeah. And like I'm coming on the pitch and it's out of corner, but I was that confident in myself. Like we had Ryan Woods who usually took them. I said, nah, I'm taking it. Yeah. I whipped it straight onto Jermaine Grandison's head. He hit the post. Yeah. Almost my first ever assist. So like from that, I just sort of kicked on. But then after the game, like my agent said to me at the time, I have a different agent now, but at the time he said to me like, listen, we've got a lot of interest from just what you've done there. Like there was a lot of teams at that game because Plymouth are a good side and Shrewsbury were a good side as well. Yeah. So like that's when I sort of said to myself, okay, like I'm actually getting somewhere now. Yeah. I'm actually going to become a footballer, not like one of them guys that have got to that pinnacle point and gone, fuck it. Like I sort of took it like, I'm that close. Because when I was younger, my name was actually like on a lot of people's lips, innit? Like that's just the truth. Like I had a lot of things in the paper, a lot of interest. Like even from up here, like there was all talk about Celtic, Rangers, and like big sides. Like there was even a point where I was meant to go and have like a week trial at Man United, but me being that stupid kid at the time. I thought I ain't trialing for that. I ain't trialing for no one. Like I'm doing well. Like I want to go here. So like, obviously when you're young, you don't think properly. Yeah. Everything is a guess basically on how you feel at that time. But we're sort of like, because I had that interest, I knew that my ability was good enough to go. Yeah. Like so. Like that was probably when I decided like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm gonna be a footballer regardless.
So from a self-belief aspect, that was when it changed, and then when you actually made your debut and then played 45 minutes, and you changed the game completely. Yeah. It's elite, bro. It's phenomenal. And the basis of those questions, mate, are just kind of. I actually had a great conversation with a young lad, and he was basically implying that those questions will basically reflect your standards as an individual, and I thought kind of summed it up well. And when I actually sat and kind of deep dived into them for my own answers, it was something that I thought I need to ask more people these exact questions, mate. So that's going to kind of round up the podcast, mate. Obviously, thank you so much for coming on, Paul.
No, thank you for letting me come on, bro. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me as well, Paul, mate. It's been cracking. And anyone that's listening, if you're on Spotify, make sure you drop a follow. At this time, at the time of this being uploaded, we'll have a few episodes ready, good to go, rolling them out fortnightly. Some of the guests we've got in the pipeline to come on, you'll absolutely love. Gino's setting the bar high, though, as expected.
Boise got to come back on here.
He needs to come back on, bro, 100%. I was thinking about we'd need to get like both of yous on at the same time.
I'd enjoy that, you know. Yeah. Hopefully, like, I'll speak to Andy as well about it.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Boise's got 1.27 KD as well. That's what I wanted to say, innit? That's been on my mind for a minute.
Love it. So yeah, if you're on Spotify, drop a follow. We'll be uploading fortnightly. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on TikTok, Instagram, make sure you drop a follow. All our details will be on there. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thanks so much, Gino, mate.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.